Alright. Good evening and salutations, my Days of Alliance fans. I gotta say that the scene with Tate, Brady, and Amy was not how I thought it was gonna be. Right? Like I was kind of bracing for the worst to some extent because we saw the trailer of her that they're saying that she wanted those two married. So initially, my reaction was gonna be like, "Oh, she's just gonna be well over the top," but she wasn't. Right? And before I even get to that part, you know, Tate blaming Ava for this whole thing, so that they're saying if it wasn't for Ava, so that they're running her mouth, then he wouldn't be in the situation. He would have already got the abortion and everything would have been that. And I'm so glad that Brady was like, no, 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 no. This is not on Ava whatsoever. This is on you. Okay? Because in all reality, if you weren't prepared for the consequences of a child may being born, then you shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. He ain't like that, but it's the truth of the matter. So Amy comes over, and at first I was like, "What are you doing there?" And it turned out Brady sat there and reached out to her. I want to do this over the phone, and Amy's like, "No, no, 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 no. No, this kind of conversation, we gotta do this in face. We gotta do face to face." And made sure that Tate stayed there because Tate wants to sit there and try to do damage control with Holly, but she's like, no, 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 no. You need to be here for this conversation. Tate stays. And, the thing is, I feel like there's a lot of people, including myself, that really sat there and kind of villainize um, the Amy character so far. Because, yeah, she does come across as pushy. She does come across as a bit judgy, right? But the thing is, though, the thing is, I'm not super religious, right? So my structure on growing up was a lot different than hers. She grew up in a very strict environment, and she's kind of just portraying her values of how it was when she grew up. I don't know. Maybe I sit there and think on some level that my life would have been a little bit different if I would have had a little more structure as far as religion is concerned. So I can't knock her for the way that she's coming across. Because although it comes across like she's sitting there really going hard on Tate, there's things she's not wrong about. She's not wrong about most boys in high school trying to think about one thing. And it's not to saying that girls don't think about that either, because in all reality, while we see her come down really hard on Tate, pretty much making it seem like, this is Tate's fault, he got her pregnant, da 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 da. She's not being easy on Sophia either. She's being just as hard on her, if not harder, because she's like, yo, listen, I taught you better than this. I taught you a lot better than this. So, like, this is very disappointing. She's not pulling a Nina from, like, General Hospital, where she's just trying to look at it like, oh, well, this is all Drew's fault, and Willow's just the innocent party. No, she's being just as hard on Sophia as she is with Tate. And hell, yeah, she did push the idea. She did sit there and mention the idea, but Brady was like, no, 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 this is not going to work. Like, they're too young to be doing that. So Amy's like, okay, well then what are we gonna do? Because again, that's how she grew up. And while Brady was like kind of more pushing for the idea of the abortion because they have their whole lives ahead of them, she grew up a lot different. She's like, yo, listen, we're not gonna sit there and act like this baby yeah, they have their whole lives ahead of them and everything like that, but it is what it is. We're not going to sit there and end that child's life just for everybody else's convenience. Now, whether you think that's right or wrong, it is what it is. So, in all reality, that meeting or their conversation was not How do I sit there and put this? She turned out not to be as much a over the top crazy chick as much as I thought that she would. I thought she actually, given her background, she handled it very well. Whether people agree or disagree with her religion or her pro life choice or whatever, I thought she handled that pretty well. Um, Now Sophia does come over. She does apologize for the way everything went down, saying that she never really meant to go out to Tate that way, which I felt was like that's that's the exact opposite. You did, but the point is, she did apologize. She does sit there and let Holly know that she's keeping the baby because Holly was talking to Doug, thinking that the abortion was done, and she can try to psych herself back up to, hey, you know what? Listen, we could just move forward. It's not going to affect us. And then she finds out, and she's not happy. And I get it from her point of view. Like, hey, listen, this is messing up me and Tate's relationship and things of that nature. But to be fair, you know what? At this point, Holly, this isn't about you anymore. This isn't even about Tate. This is about the baby. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, your feelings about your relationship, I can kind of really give two shits about at this point. Because now you have an innocent child that's involved. And Tate does come over, and Tate does try to explain. Well, he does a piss poor job as far as explaining. And Holly's like, how come you didn't sit there and tell me when you got back? Or the fact that you didn't even leave. How come you didn't tell me? She was like, oh, I didn't. He was like, I didn't know. I just, I figured if I waited long enough that, something would work itself out. And I'm like, wait, what? And I know people could sit there and just contribute that to, well, he's a teenager. He didn't da 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 da. Whatever. The point is, you didn't even actually have a plan. You really didn't have a plan. You were just hoping that the shit was just going to work out. And Holly just had enough, and she just walks out. Now, this stuff with Julie, right? I don't feel like a lot of this is acting. This is this is heartbreaking every time that I see Julie in these scenes. Even towards the end, after Doug leaves, and there's people that's sending her messages and stuff like that, and she's kind of looking at it and she's just deleting it, and I can only imagine that's how she was doing that in real life. So like her acting, I feel like maybe the things are coming across so easy for her because this is how she reacted in real life when people were sending her messages and stuff like that. She wasn't lashing out. She understands that people are, expressing their love and everything like that. But I mean, you lose somebody like that after years of being with them. It's like losing a part of yourself. You know, it's well wishes, and I'm pretty sure she appreciate of it. But like, that, you know. Now after Doug gets up there talking to Julie, he goes to the park. He meets these men, and let's be honest, he knew exactly what was going to wind up happening. He didn't have the rest of the money. They whooped his ass. Holly saw that. Now she's all like nervous and everything like that, worried about him. But it's like, bro, you knew exactly what was going to wind up happening when you didn't have the rest of that money. And the only reason why he left him alive is that way he can finish paying up the rest of that money faster. Now we know eventually Holly and Doug are going to be together because I mean that relationship is just done. Ava comes over to confront Kristen about the text messages. And Kristen's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So they go back and forth. Rachel over here to the point where she comes in. She's like, yo, leave my mother alone. And she defends her up until a point. Which, by the way, Ava just walked on in. And Kristen's like, what's going on? Oh, the door's unlocked. I know people don't see that as that much of a big deal in the grand scheme of things, and I get that part, but every time that happens, right, somebody just walks on in. It's like, how are they just walking in these people's houses even yesterday, Hattie was like, for a fancy mansion with a lot of price, like pricey items, y'all are very lax about security. And I think that's more of just laughter at the budget. The fact that they can't just hire somebody to open the door or be by a door or walk them on in or something like that. Like, even General Hospital, back when, they used to sit there and have Alfred. Yeah, for the Nicholas character, which was really mirroring off Batman in a sense. Um, they actually had the butler named Alfred. They don't have butlers anymore. Like, what happened to that? Yeah, it just really shows you how much the budget has been slashed to the point where you can't even actually hire staff. Anyway, um, Ava leaves. Kristen realizes it's Rachel, and Rachel pretty much sits there and says, "Why can I not do that? Why can I not threaten people? You do it. EJ do it. Nona, Nona, Stefano did it, which okay. But the point is, this just kind of contributes to the fact that I don't think that Kristen's a bad mother in some ways, but in some ways she is because it's like your daughter is marrying off of what you've done. And so they're justifying by saying, "Well, I did it, so you can do it. I mean, you did it, so why can I not do it?" I'm like, that's and of course, Kristen's like, she tries to teach some sort of valuable lesson, and I get that, but I'm like, this is kind of proving that you're kind of a bad mom. Um, Brady comes over and starts blasting her until Kristen says, "I wasn't sending messages. This was Rachel." And this is where Brady's like, it kind of just put two and two together. And I think if he wasn't so concerned and everything like that about the whole Tate thing, he probably would have picked up on it a little more faster. Of course, he's still going to blast her by the same thing. Kind of a bad mom, you're. Um. Oh, and there's also a scene with Ava and what's the guy's name? Brady. But that's after he finds out what's going on and he goes straight to Kristen. Now, I feel like that's about it for the most part. I might have missed one or two things, and of course, if I did, write in the comment section. I'll come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the shows, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, Young and Restless, and General Hospital. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully live stream.